What if the secret to the universe, the real secret, was never hidden in some remote cave or locked behind ancient doors? What if it's been in plain sight all along, cloaked in myth, shadowed by secrecy, and buried beneath centuries of deliberate suppression? There exists a body of knowledge so profound, so potent, that it quietly shaped the very roots of science, spirituality, and philosophy. And yet, most people have never heard of it. This isn't just another ancient mystery. This is a revelation, a name often whispered behind closed doors: Hermes Trismegistus. To some, he was a myth. To others, a god. But to those who know, he was a master. His name appears in the secret rites of Freemasons, in the arcane symbols of alchemists, and echoed in the teachings of mystics who dared to search for more. But who was Hermes Trismegistus, really? Why does the world ignore his name while secret orders revere it? And what truth was so dangerous it had to be hidden for millennia? Hermes wasn't just a philosopher. He was said to be the synthesis of Hermes, the Greek messenger of the gods, and Thoth, the Egyptian deity of wisdom and writing. Trismegistus means thrice great, a title said to honor his mastery of three sacred arts: alchemy, astrology, and theurgy, the divine science of awakening the soul. But make no mistake, Hermes was not merely a historical figure. He was the vessel through which a sacred knowledge flowed. Knowledge so transformative, it became the foundation for secret societies, mystical traditions, and even the science of men like Newton and Da Vinci. These teachings were never for the masses. They were preserved for the few, encoded in allegories, shrouded in symbol, and passed from teacher to student in the silence of the mystery schools. To the uninitiated, they seemed like riddles, but to those who could see beyond the veil, they were a blueprint of reality. Why was this knowledge hidden? Because true knowledge is power, and those who understand the laws that govern reality, how thought shapes existence, how energy transforms, how consciousness is the root of all creation, possess a power no king or priest could afford to share. So the teachings were splintered, suppressed, distorted. The texts themselves, like the Corpus Hermeticum, the Emerald Tablet, and the Kybalion, survived only because they were hidden. The Corpus Hermeticum, a series of sacred dialogues on the divine and the mind, nearly vanished before being rediscovered during the Renaissance. The Emerald Tablet, said to contain the secret of transmutation and the oneness of all things, became the cornerstone of alchemy. The Kybalion, composed much later, distilled Hermeticism into 7 universal laws, principles that govern everything from the dance of galaxies to the shape of your thoughts. And still, even today, most have never heard of them. Why do secret orders still revere Hermes? Why do modern physicists echo his teachings without ever naming him? Because what he taught was not superstition, it was reality. Some say Hermes was a sage from a lost civilization. Others believe he was not one man, but a lineage of illuminated initiates. And a few whisper that he was not human at all, that the wisdom he carried was not born of this world, but gifted from realms beyond our comprehension. But whatever the origin, the truth remains. His teachings endured. They survived the fall of empires, the rise of dogma, the burning of the Library of Alexandria. And now, as the world teeters on the edge of a new awakening, they are rising again. Yet some truths are too powerful for open platforms. That's why we share the deeper Hermetic secrets inside our private circle, the Insights Academy. Sign up through the link below and receive for a limited time a free copy of the Kybalion, a book they never wanted you to read. Hermes Trismegistus is not a relic of the past. He is a spark still burning. And if you're still watching, you may already be on the path. The question is, are you ready to go deeper? The world you see around you, the laws of science, the boundaries of matter, the structures of society, they're only a fragment of the full truth. Hermes taught something else, something so powerful, so reality-altering, that it had to be concealed, not just from the ignorant, but from those who would exploit it. According to Hermeticism, reality is not fixed. It is fluid, mental, alive. It responds to thought, to frequency, to intention. The first of the 7 Hermetic principles is mentalism. Everything is mind. The universe itself is a thought, not metaphorically, literally. Modern science now confirms that observation shapes reality, that consciousness alters matter, and that particles behave differently when watched. The universe is not out there. It is inside you. Change the mind, and you change the world. The second principle is correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. It means the patterns of the cosmos reflect in your body, your mind, your emotions. Galaxies spiral just like DNA. The atom mirrors the structure of solar systems. The microcosm reflects the macrocosm. If your world is chaotic, it's not random. It's revealing something within. Align the inner, and the outer must follow. This law speaks to every level of being. It explains why your thoughts become patterns, why your emotions manifest as repeated events, and why the journey inward is the only path to changing what surrounds you. Then comes vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. The difference between light and shadow, between joy and despair, is frequency. Emotions, thoughts, even matter, all have their own vibrational signatures. Ancient sages used mantras, sound, and resonance to elevate consciousness. Modern healers use frequencies to balance the mind and body. And Tesla said it best: if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Those who master this principle can elevate their state of being, heal themselves, and awaken new levels of awareness. But what does that truly mean? It means that despair is not a fixed condition. It is a vibration, one that can be shifted. It means you are not bound by your past or your trauma. You are an energetic being, and energy can be transformed. Each of these principles is a key. Each one unlocks a new doorway in the architecture of reality. And these are just the first 3. The blueprint continues. Polarity, rhythm, cause and effect. Gender, each a law, each a secret hidden in plain sight. Each offering a new way to understand who you are and what you're truly capable of. In the next chapter, we will explore them all, what they mean, how they work, and how you can begin to wield them to transform your life from within. The Hermetic path is not for the faint of heart, but if you've made it this far, you're already feeling the call. The question is, will you answer it? The Hermetic path continues, deeper now, into the unseen architecture of the cosmos. Beyond mentalism, correspondence, and vibration, 4 more principles lie waiting. These are not mere theories. They are laws, unchanging, unyielding, and yet empowering. The 4th principle is polarity. Everything has its opposite. Light and darkness, love and hate, truth and illusion. But opposites are not enemies. They are degrees on the same spectrum. Hot and cold are not different things. They are varying intensities of the same phenomenon. Understanding polarity means understanding transformation, because when you recognize that hate is just a lower vibration of love, you realize it can be transmuted. This is the key: transmutation, not suppression. Your anger is not to be feared. It is energy, raw, potent, and waiting to be alchemized into strength, into clarity, into action. Most are taught to fight their shadow, to suppress their fear, to deny their darkness. Hermes taught the opposite: embrace it, study it, transmute it. This is the hidden art of spiritual alchemy, the internal great work. Then comes rhythm. Everything flows in and out, everything rises and falls. The tides, the moon, the seasons, your breath, your thoughts. Life moves in cycles: expansion, contraction, creation, destruction. When you resist the rhythms of life, you suffer. When you flow with them, you become powerful. The Hermeticist does not fear the fall. They understand it is followed by ascent. This law teaches patience. It teaches trust. It teaches timing. When winter comes, you do not despair. You prepare, because spring always follows. Next, the principle of cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance. Every effect has a cause. Every cause creates an effect. You are not a victim of random events. You are the product of choices, beliefs, thoughts, actions. Many unconscious, some conscious. The Hermeticist becomes conscious of their causes. They stop reacting. They begin creating. To control your reality, you must trace the effect back to its cause and shift it there. This is the true power behind manifestation, not wishful thinking, not shallow affirmations, but deep alignment with the causal level of reality. The final principle is gender, not in terms of biology, but in terms of force. Everything contains both masculine and feminine energies, activity and receptivity, logic and intuition, force and form. Creation requires balance. The masculine drives, initiates, expands. The feminine receives, nurtures, manifests. When these energies are unbalanced, distortion follows. Too much force without form creates destruction. Too much receptivity without direction leads to stagnation. But when balanced, true creation emerges. This is why ancient symbols often depict androgynous figures, because the awakened human integrates both aspects. The Hermetic laws are not abstract philosophy. They are instructions. Instructions for mastery. Instructions for liberation. Instructions for becoming the architect of your own life. And now we step into one of the most misunderstood paths of all: alchemy. Modern minds scoff at alchemy. They say it was the foolish attempt to turn lead into gold. They see it as a failed science, but they are wrong. Alchemy was never about metal. It was always about the soul. The lead is symbolic of the human condition, heavy, bound by fear, clouded by ignorance. The gold, enlightenment, awakening, the divine self fully realized. This is why alchemy is called the great work. It is not chemistry. It is the spiritual process of transmutation, and it unfolds in 3 sacred stages: nigredo, albedo, rubedo, nigredo, the blackening, the breakdown of the false self, the dark night of the soul, the confrontation with pain, illusion, and the buried aspects of your being. This is the most terrifying stage, because it requires death, the death of who you thought you were. Most never move past this. They turn back. They numb themselves. They retreat into distraction. But for those who endure, albedo follows. Albedo, the whitening, the purification, the clarity, the stripping away of ego, the emergence of truth. Here you begin to remember who you are beyond the conditioning, beyond the fear, beyond the mask. Your soul begins to shine. And then, rubedo, the reddening, the union, the fusion of opposites, the birth of the enlightened self. This is resurrection. This is mastery. This is becoming the philosopher's stone itself, because that stone is not a relic. It is you, transformed. This journey has been encoded in symbols for millennia. The phoenix rising from ashes, the serpent shedding its skin, the butterfly emerging from the cocoon, all metaphors for the same sacred process. Modern psychology mirrors this. Shadow work, inner child healing, self-actualization. They are fragments of Hermetic alchemy, forgotten echoes of ancient wisdom. But here is the truth. No institution, no doctrine, no guru can complete the great work for you. You must walk it, through the fire, through the darkness, through the unraveling of all illusion, and only then, rebirth. You become free. In the next chapter, we will explore the Emerald Tablet itself, the most mysterious fragment of Hermetic lore. A single verse that holds the keys to the universe, and when you understand it, nothing will look the same again. There exists a fragment of wisdom so profound, so ancient, that it has been studied, hidden, and preserved across centuries. A single verse, cryptic in its language, yet infinitely deep in its meaning. The Emerald Tablet, a brief but powerful text attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, holding within it the blueprint of reality. Its most famous line reads, "That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to accomplish the miracle of the one thing." At first glance, it sounds poetic, mystical, but it is far more than that. It is a universal law, a cosmic equation, a portal to understanding how reality operates on every level, from the quantum to the cosmic. The microcosm reflects the macrocosm. Your inner world mirrors the outer. The architecture of an atom reflects the architecture of the stars. And the implications are staggering. Because if everything is connected, then nothing is meaningless. Your thoughts are not just fleeting echoes. They are acts of creation. Your body is not separate from the earth, nor your mind separate from the universe. This is not metaphor. This is Hermetic law. Modern science is only now beginning to glimpse this. Quantum physics reveals that particles change behavior when observed, that the act of attention alters reality. String theory proposes that everything is made of vibrating energy, echoing the Hermetic principle of vibration. Fractals, discovered in chaos theory, show the same patterns repeating at infinite scales, just as the tablet foretold. What ancient mystics intuited, modern science is confirming. Reality is conscious, interconnected, reflective, and more than that, it responds to you. The Emerald Tablet is not just a relic, it is a tool, a formula for transformation. It speaks of the one thing. What is it? The one thing is Source, the unified field, the divine intelligence behind all creation. Hermes taught that by aligning with this force, by understanding the principles encoded in the tablet, you become a conscious co-creator of your reality. The tablet continues, "All things were made from the one thing by the meditation of one mind." Meditation of one mind. Again, this is not abstract spirituality. It is the recognition that the universe is mental, that consciousness is the fabric from which reality is woven. Your mind is not just a receiver of reality, it is a transmitter. Your beliefs, your thoughts, your frequency, they shape the field around you. And so the alchemical process is not just about understanding the universe, it is about understanding yourself as part of that universe. You are not a passive observer. You are a participant, a weaver of the cosmic web. This is why Hermeticism was hidden, because if you knew this, truly knew it, you would be uncontrollable. The Emerald Tablet tells us that the sun is its father and the moon its mother. Symbolic language, yes, but with deeper meanings. The sun represents active, conscious will. The moon, receptive intuition. Creation arises when these forces unite. Just as masculine and feminine energies merge to create life, so too must your logic and your intuition merge to birth transformation. The tablet ends by saying, "Therefore I am called Hermes Trismegistus, having the three parts of the philosophy of the whole world." Three parts: alchemy, astrology, theurgy, the transformation of self, the study of cosmic influence, the alignment with divine law. This is the trinity of mastery, and this is what secret societies knew. This is what mystics preserved. This is what rulers feared. Because when an individual embodies all three, when they integrate the Hermetic laws, when they understand the tablet not just intellectually but experientially, they become sovereign, not ruled by fear, not swayed by illusion, not confined by limitation. But how many dare to walk that path? How many are willing to destroy who they were to become who they are? Because this journey, the Hermetic path, is not one of comfort. It is a dismantling, a purification, a remembering. It demands the death of illusion and the rebirth of truth. This is why the teachings were encoded in symbols, why they were passed down in secret, why they could not be given to those unprepared. Because power without wisdom is dangerous, and truth without readiness can shatter the unprepared mind. But you are still here, still listening, still seeking, and that means something. That means you are ready to begin applying, not just absorbing, to start living, not just learning. Because the final illusion is this: that knowledge alone is enough. It is not. Action is the fire that turns potential into power. Application is the bridge between understanding and transformation. The Hermetic principles are not just ideas to contemplate. They are tools to wield, daily, consciously, deliberately. You begin by observing your thoughts, questioning your beliefs, aligning your actions, raising your vibration. And you do it not once, but continuously. Not until you feel better, but until you become different. You will know you're changing not when your thoughts feel hopeful, but when your reality starts to shift. When synchronicities multiply, when doors open that were once invisible. This is the miracle of the one thing, the alignment of inner and outer, the harmony of above and below. And, as Hermes said, that is the greatest force of all forces, because it overcomes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid thing. That force is within you. It always has been. Now, awaken it. Because once you do, there is no going back. You will see the illusion for what it is. You will understand your place in the grand design. You will step beyond fear, beyond limitation, beyond time. You will remember, and that is the beginning of true freedom. The Hermetic teachings were never meant to remain hidden. They were meant to be lived. Now it is your turn. Take the next step. Live what you've learned. Become what you truly are.